Well, what's up again there, guys? Brian here, the Three Topics Gamer, and I have a pretty interesting collector's video to share with you guys today. Now, I put the post up on my community section of my channel to see if you guys would be interested in seeing a complete breakdown of my entire PlayStation 4 library collection, and a lot of people said you didn't want to see it, so here we go. Now, I gotta say, I usually keep my stack of PlayStation 4 games kind of like over here by like the shelf here, and it looks like a pretty good size. But having actually have it like right next to my desk, I have to say this is actually a pretty big collection. I'd have to say somewhere within 70 to 80 games, I think, which I'd say is actually a pretty good collection for one person. So yeah. So before I start showing off my entire PlayStation 4 games collection, which started from 2013 going into 2020, which I believe the only PlayStation 4 game I plan on getting in 2021 is Prince of Persia Remake, which doesn't come out till March, but that's beside the point. So before I start giving you guys my entire breakdown, if you happen to enjoy this video by the end, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, and please press the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it for you guys to help me reach my subscriber goal, which, as I've said many times during this year so far, you guys will find out what that is on the 19th of this month when I do my anniversary video. So let's stop wasting any time and just jump right into the breakdown. Now I'm just gonna go through each game one by one and just give my quick thought on each of them because we have a lot to go over. So let's start off with the first game, which is Mad Max. Very underrated game. This was not connected to the movie at any way. This game very much stands on its own. If you have not had a chance to play it, I advise you to do so. This is definitely probably one of the most underrated games in my collection. Next, we have Batman Arkham Knight. I thought it was a good end to the trilogy, so that's nice. Next, Mass Effect Andromeda. Very flawed game, not perfect, but heck, I had fun with it, and I would definitely play this over the first Mass Effect game, which we will be getting again. I think they're re-releasing like the Legacy Collection that allows us to play the original trilogy on the PlayStation 5, which I'll be sure to get. Next, Titanfall 2. Great game, very unappreciated, and it probably has one of my best collector's edition boxes, which is in my closet, which actually has the pilot's helmet. Next, we have Borderlands, the collection, the Handsome Collection. Not the biggest Borderlands fan, but I think I did have fun when I was playing with friends, so there's that. Next, we have The Division 2. This game, I'll be honest, the only reason I haven't picked up this game is because my friend Rachel recommended it, and when I was playing with her and with my brother, it was fun, but I think when I wasn't playing with them, it just kind of got a little bit boring. So, if you want to get this, make sure you play it with friends. It very much enhances your experience. Next, Star Wars Battlefront 2. I don't even remember how I got this. Wait, no, I remember. This came with my PlayStation. This came with my PlayStation 4 Pro. When I got my PlayStation, yeah, I got the collector's edition, PlayStation 4 Pro, and I think just like with my Darth Vader PlayStation 4, it actually came with a copy of the game. So, yeah, I haven't played this in a while. But I think I think it's okay. It doesn't hold a candle to the original Battlefront 2, but yeah. Next, Mortal Kombat 10. Great fighting game. Mortal Kombat is my franchise. That's all I can say about it. Next, Resident Evil 2 Remake. Great remake. I had a lot of fun with it outside of the Raccoon City Police Department section. Once you pass that part, both for Claire and Leon's campaigns, it's an amazing game. Next, Resident Evil 6. A lot of people don't like it, but I would say throughout the original run of Resident Evil games, this game by far has my favorite controls. I enjoyed the controls more than 4 and 5 because it allows you to shoot and move. And although I would say that the Chris campaign is not very good, Leon's campaign alone could have easily been its own game had they extended it. So yeah, I will defend Leon's campaign in that game till the end of time. Next, Resident Evil 5. Great co-op game. I've played it every single chance I've had. If they release on the PlayStation 5, which I'm sure they will, I will be sure to play this again, but I had a lot of fun with this game. Resident Evil 2 Revelations. Another great addition. you know, a lot of fun. It was good playing as Claire again. It had been a while. I mean, before this game, I think the last time you played as Claire was back in Resident Evil Code Veronica. I really wish they did a Code Veronica remake before doing 4. I mean, I understand 4 is popular, but heck, do it in order so there's some consistency. So, yeah. Next, Evil Within 2. Great game. Had a lot of fun. Actually, recently streamed this earlier this year and had a lot of fun with it. Quite challenging, some pretty disturbing imagery, but overall, great survival horror game. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. A lot of people didn't like this game. I personally love this game. I think it's probably either my... Yeah, it's definitely a top 5 favorite. Well, maybe. It might just edge into... It's definitely not a top 3. I think... It's either 4 or 5. It's between Origins and this one in terms of 4 and 5. But yeah, Odyssey. Even though some of you guys may not have liked it, but heck, I had a lot of fun with it, so that's why it's here. And that's followed up by Origins. Now, I actually did an Assassin's Creed video at the beginning of last year, and I stated that I hadn't played Origins at that point. But once coronavirus hit and I had all this time at home, I picked up a copy of this, played it, immediately loved it, and here's what I'll say. I like the gameplay of this one more, but I think the story and characters are better in this one. So I think these two edge out the number 4 and 5 spot on my top 5 favorite Assassin's Creed games. So I think that's what I feel about that. Next, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Greatest Assassin's Creed game ever made. Yes, even over 2 and Brotherhood, which those 2 games take the number 2 and 3 spot on my list. That's all I want to say on that. And what do you know? Assassin's Creed Ezio Collection Edition. Ezio is probably the greatest assassin in the franchise. He's not my personal favorite. I know a lot of people really like Ezio, but heck, it's the entire trilogy. It does contain 2 and Brotherhood. Could not finish Revelations. Still haven't given it another chance, but who knows what will happen in the future. Dang, this stack is getting really unstable. Next, Control. I do not think Control got the respect it deserved when it came out, I believe, in 2019, but this game ended up being a lot better than I thought it could be. It looked like just a run-and-gun third-person shooter, but this game was actually pretty interesting, solid cast, interesting premise. They even left it open for a sequel. I'm not sure what they would call it, but if they do make a sequel to Control, I will be all for it. Next, we have Wolfenstein New Colossus. Great first-person shooter game. Wolfenstein is a great series. I can't complain. And that is immediately followed up by Wolfenstein, The New Order. Both these games were great. I think the third one, which had I think it's called Youngblood, was just awful. But I think these first 2, focusing on our main protagonists here, are awesome shooters. It's never disappointment killing Nazis. Nier Automata, great RPG. I don't think enough people talked about this game. I think the multiple different endings and its concept, I think, are quite fascinating and something that, heck, I really hope they do make another one of these games, because even I was surprised with how much I enjoyed it. And next we have Doom. Doom is a fantastic first-person shooter. Great soundtrack, great action, non-stop movement. Just, you can't go wrong killing demons. And that is also followed up by Doom Eternal. This may be a contender for probably the best first-person shooter game I played during the PlayStation 4 era. I enjoyed it that much. Anything you loved in Doom 1, they very much enhanced it and improved upon it in Doom Eternal. It is said that Bethesda is now owned by Microsoft, which means there's a possibility that we may never get, or I may never get another chance to play another Doom game on a PlayStation. But heck, if that's the case, this is the last Doom game I ever end up playing. Heck, I think it's a great game to end my experience of the Doom series on. Hopefully, maybe Microsoft will make a deal so it'll be multi-platform, but who knows. Next, Deadpool. Great game. I mean, I'm not the biggest Deadpool fan, but heck, I enjoyed the movie, so obviously I was going to enjoy the game, so that's all I can say on that. Dude, I swear, I hope this pile does not fall over. Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. This is the game that made me a Tomb Raider fan. I picked this up on PlayStation 3, so when they announced a definitive edition, I knew I had to pick that up. And yeah, I'm a big fan of this version of Lara Croft. I was never a big fan of the original version, but I'm a big fan of this version. And then we have Devil May Cry 5. Probably my favorite Devil May Cry game of all time. No, I take that back. It absolutely is my favorite Devil May Cry game of all time. I do plan on get. I actually do have a copy of Devil May Cry 5. Uh, I think like definitive edition for PlayStation 5 that allows you to play as Virgil. Sadly, I have to get a PlayStation 5 before I can play it. But I think if once I'm done playing that game, I probably might give that version a 10 out of 10. I think the only thing that held this game back was that you couldn't play as Virgil. I mean, you can. I think you can if you download like DLC for it. But heck, I just want a chance to play as it, and who knows? Maybe I might use that character in a future versus series matchup one day. Next, we have Devil May Cry the Collection. It has Devil May Cry's 1, 2, and 3. Really, I only have beaten one once. Couldn't do it a second time. Devil May Cry 2 was just too stinking easy. I think I beat that in like one stream, which was like amazing. And Devil May Cry the Special Edition allows you to play as Virgil, so heck, that gives places in a very special place in my heart. Next, we have Deus Ex Mankind Divided. This game reminds me a lot of Cyberpunk if it was a little bit more linear. But heck, I absolutely love the entire world of Deus Ex, and I believe this is the sequel, which I didn't really enjoy as much as the first one, but I thought it was a solid follow up, even though it had some flaws in my personal opinion. Next, we have Attack on Titan 2 and Attack on Titan 1. I mean, I'm an Attack on Titan fan. I'm not sure if the last season has been released yet, but once it's done, I think I'll just binge the whole series. I haven't watched Attack on Titan since the end of season 2. I know there was a season 3. I think we're on season 4. So yeah, I enjoy the concept of going around and killing titans and transforming into a giant titan and beating them up and killing them. And I think that's a great set of characters. I just wish this had an English voice dub. I don't mind subtitles, but it would have been nice. Next, XCOM 2. I'm gonna be honest. I've never actually played this game. I got this when I went to, I believe it was the last PlayStation experience. And what happened is there was this guy who was just walking around just handing out free games. And the reason I know that is because the barcode is punched out, so I couldn't resell this. Unless I took it out of its box and then went to like a GameStop. And I'm not into trading games, so I just kind of took it and put it in my collection, and I really have not had a chance to play it since. I don't know if it's any good, but it's just kind of there. Next, oh dear, Metal Gear Solid Ground Zero. This was an interesting story. For those of you guys who have actually been watching my channel long enough, you would know that I actually didn't even play this game until I believe the whole game came out. So it actually sat wrapped up, and I didn't play it for like a year. And then I finally played it, and I had fun with it until the end, and that kind of led into Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain. What a massive disappointment and just a terrible ending to the whole Konami run of Metal Gear. I mean, it's clear that Konami butchered the hell out of this game, and by the end, it was not anything that Kojima would have wanted. We still don't know what happened, but whatever happened, there are rumors that maybe Kojima could get the rights back to Metal Gear because Konami isn't doing anything with the property, so Sony might want to pick it up and then it'll have the rights, and then maybe they'll want to give it back to Kojima if they want to do that, which I'm on the fence about because I really would like Kojima to work on other things. But as for this game, this is just not a great way to event the franchise. It did everything wrong you could do after the ending of Metal Gear Solid 4. I mean, that's why I liked 4 so much, was that it answered all the questions of the entire franchise. This just brought up more questions and made things more confusing. And don't get me wrong, the series is confusing enough as it is, but this is really where things got out of control. Now, this one is really weird. No Man's Sky, probably one of the most disappointing games that came out. One of the most overhyped, misleading games that came out during the PlayStation 4 era. I got suckered in like everybody, and I think I played this for like a week, did my review, got very disappointed, and I have not touched this disc since. Now, I don't know what they've done with it since then, and, I don't know. Maybe they added some DLC or some patches that made the game playable nowadays. I know it's not an exclusive. I think they did release it on other platforms, but at the time, like, this was like one of the most disappointing games that had ever come out. So there's that. Okay, we're now onto the second stack, and we have Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is definitely my favorite Tomb Raider game of all time. A great sequel to the first game, and I think it really does enhance everything up. I love the setting out of this one, out of any other Tomb Raider game, and this is only one of two 10 out of 10 games that I gave during the PlayStation 4 era. And next, we have South Park, The Fractured Butthole. I actually prefer this South Park RPG over the other one. I like how you can play with like a whole team of characters, and I like how it's kind of superhero focused, which I'm a more bigger fan of superheroes than I am of like Lord of the Rings and classic RPG dungeon games like that. So yeah, really enjoyed that. Next, we have another copy of Batman Arkham Knight. I'm a big fan of steel cases. Don't know why I have two copies of this, but yeah, steel case. I love steel cases. But yes, definitely love this one. This is by far my favorite game that came out during the PlayStation 4 era, Persona 5 Royal. The second game that I would give a 10 out of 10 game to. I'm surprised I didn't even know about Persona before the original game, which is actually right here. But yeah, this quickly grew to become one of my favorite RPG franchises of all time, only slightly below something like Final Fantasy. But yeah, love Persona 1, Persona 5, the original, but Persona 5 Royal took it to the whole next level. This easily became my second JRPG of all time, and is a 10 out of 10 game. This is a masterpiece of a game. If you do, anyone that loves RPGs or JRPGs, this is a must-have to add to your collection. Next, we have yes, God of War 4. Very surprised. This is probably my second favorite game that came out during the PlayStation 4 era. I'm very curious to see what they do with God of War 5 Ragnarok. I still do not believe for a second that game is coming out this year. I don't believe it at all. I would expect not its first year. It's gonna take a while for everyone to get a PlayStation 5. I would wait till like 2022 when more people have consoles, and therefore more people can play them. I just do not believe that it should come out this year. But as for this game, I was hesitant, and I was proven wrong. It ended up being far better than I thought it could be. And as it stands right now, it is my second favorite God of War game in the franchise, right behind God of War 3, which I'm not even sure if Ragnarok is going to be able to top that game. Next, we have Shadow of the Colossus, which I just talked about in a recent video. And I think that Shadow of the Colossus is without question the most timeless, greatest masterpiece of a game that I cannot give a 10 out of 10 to. I played this on the PlayStation 2, on the PlayStation 3, on the PlayStation 4, and I'm sure I'm going to play this on the PlayStation 5. The only thing that holds this game back is its controls and some of the enemy AI. Other than that, it is a beautiful game with a fantastic concept, and the gameplay is excellent when it is working at its best. Next, we have Ghost of Tsushima, the last of the great lineup of PlayStation 4 exclusive games. This was my choice for Game of the Year. I'll honestly say that. Yeah, like if I can't use Persona 5 Royal as my 2020 Game of the Year, this is what I easily would have picked. I think this is the first of a great franchise that is easily going to continue on to the PlayStation 5. I think this is definitely going to be one of the benchmark games that's going to help the PlayStation 5, continue its dominance. So yeah, really love this game. Any game that is based in Japan allows you to play as a badass samurai / ninja assassin. Works in my books. Next, we have another copy of Mortal Kombat 10. I don't know why I have two copies. I don't know, maybe wait a second. Wait, that's why I have two copies, because I bought a copy for a friend for him to use, because he didn't have it, but I didn't want to give it to him. So, yeah, that's why. But, yeah, Mortal Kombat fan. I love it. that's why. Next, Days Gone. Very unappreciated game. It's flawed, but this is another game I really do want to see continue on the PlayStation 5. I think Deacon is a great protagonist. I think the setting is fantastic. And I just can't wait to see what type of crazy creatures we're going to face in the sequel. Because even though I know this game didn't hit as high as people thought it was going to be, but I think that there's enough good things about it that I would love to see this game continue. So yeah, another great collection for the PlayStation exclusive lineup. Next, we have Uncharted 4. Great ending to the series. My second favorite entry in the Uncharted franchise, right behind Uncharted 2. Um, I think in terms of gameplay, this is definitely the best one. In terms of story, not so much. Really do not like the supposed final boss, and I think the ending with Nick being much older and him being married and having a kid is a great ending to the franchise. And for God's sake, I hope Naughty Dog does not get pressured and tries to do a follow up to this. Just leave Nathan Drake alone. He's done enough. He's done enough. Let the man retire and live a happy enjoy a happy retirement. Next, we have Injustice 2. I really enjoyed the Injustice games. Great fighting series made by NetherRealm Studios, which is big on Mortal Kombat. So that's like the main reason that I'm interested in this game. And heck, seeing Batman and Superman collide is always enjoyable. Much better than in BVS, just to let you guys know. Oh Jesus, man, this stack is getting really unstable. Next, I got Ni no Kuni Revenant Kingdom, and I actually keep my disc of Ni no Kuni Remastered. So technically this is both Ni no Kunis. This is the franchise that brought JRPGs back for me after Final Fantasy 13 practically killed it for like almost a decade. Love both games. Very enjoyable. Would love to stream them one day. And that's really all I can say about them. But I would easily put Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch as a top 5 favorite JRPG of all time. And I thank that game for reviving my love of the genre. Next, Death Stranding. Kojima's first game after Metal Gear. Very interesting concept. Not for everybody. Takes a long time to get into this game. But once it's working on all throttle, I think the game is amazing. It definitely is a much better in the later half of the game than the beginning, which pretty much just has you going around delivering packages. So it kind of feels like the ultimate Amazon Prime simulator. But very interesting concept. It's definitely Kojima in and out. I personally enjoyed it. I know this certainly would not work for everybody, but yeah, I certainly had fun with this one. Next, probably one of the most disappointing PlayStation 4 exclusive games that came out, and that is The Order 1886. There was a lot of potential for this game, but I will say this, visually this game looks amazing. The idea of playing as a bunch of like semi-immortal knights that are fighting off werewolves and all sorts of monsters was kind of an interesting concept. They just didn't incorporate it enough, and it ended up just being another generic shooter, which is sad because they did leave this open for a sequel, but sadly I think it's a sequel that probably at this point will just never come, and that is a little bit disappointing. Next, don't fall over. Wait a second. Okay. These aren't. I guess these aren't really 2 discs. It's like, well, I mean, it's like 4 discs. But the Final Fantasy 15 collection, as some of you guys may know or may not know, I actually did pick up the Final Fantasy 15 Collector's Edition, which is probably the most expensive collector's edition I ever picked up, and it actually came with all these discs. It came with like the game and bonus content, as well as the movie and some other bonus content. So yeah, in terms of Final Fantasy 15, I think that after the disaster of the 13 trilogy, this is the game that got the franchise back on track. So as it stands right now, I'm on somewhat good terms with the franchise, as long as I don't touch this bullshit remake that they call Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I will never play in my life. And I actually am interested to see what they do with 16, because it definitely feels like it's a much more old school style, like something you would see like in the first generation of Final Fantasy games, but just brought into modern times. So yeah, but as far as Final Fantasy 15, I liked it, so yeah, I thought it would be great for the collection. Next, I have Final Fantasy Dissidia NT. Solid fighting game. I don't think enough people liked it, but I really enjoyed the concept of it, of having certain characters, both protagonists and antagonists, come together in a fighting game. I certainly enjoyed the Dissidia franchise on the PSP, so it was nice that I actually was able to play this on the consoles. I don't hear too many people talk about this one, but overall, I did enjoy it. And heck, when I do versus series matches between Final Fantasy characters, this is going to be a really great tool to use. Alright. Okay, so now we're on my third stack here. Next, we have Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Solid conclusion to the trilogy of remake Tomb Raider games. I didn't like it as much as the first two games, but just like Uncharted 3, I think it's a solid follow up. Not sure if they'll do another follow up to this one, but I think it's a solid third entry in the series. I'm just not a big fan of the setting. That's about it. Other than that, it's still a great game. All right, now my stack's starting to get low. Next, Ratchet and Clank. Easily a top 5 best game that came out on the PlayStation 4. I love Ratchet and Clank. It is a must-buy series. This is a game I absolutely do plan to play when it comes out this year. This is a console seller. Whenever Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart comes out, that is when I know I will get a PlayStation 5 at that point. But as I'm currently still hunting one, but as terms of this one, I enjoyed it. It's basically a remake of the first game, but it's also based upon the movie. So it's kind of a remake. It's based off the film, which is a remake of the first game. And I think despite it being so similar to the very first game, it is enough to have its own identity. Plus, it still looks visually impressive, even now. So, yeah, love Ratchet and Clank. Next, Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales. Greatest comic book video game I've ever played. Solid follow-up. Not as good as this one overall, but I think these two work hand in hand, and I really am looking forward to see what they do with Spider-Man 2 when it comes out on the PlayStation 5. But dear God, I hope they get rid of that ugly face. I'm telling you, if that ugly face is in Spider-Man 2, it's going to lose some serious points even before I start reviewing that sucker. So, yeah. Sony, you have been warned. Or Insomniac, I should say, you have been warned. Next. I think we'll skip this one. Next. Infamous. Infamous. I believe this was like the first must-play game for the PlayStation 4. I do recall this came out like, I want to say, 4 or 5 months after the PlayStation 4 was released. And yeah, this was the last Infamous game. A little bit sad to see it go, but overall, I thought it was a solid conclusion. It would have been nice to have, played with Cole, but I think Delson was a great character in his own right, and I had a lot of fun with it. And it also did introduce Infamous First Light, where you got to play as Fetch, and I thought that was a nice little game, a little bit side-on game that kind of held its own, but was like a Infamous Second Son 1.5. But overall, Second Son, great game. Next, love this game. This is easy a top 5 favorite PlayStation 4 exclusive, and that is Horizon Zero Dawn. This is also another game, just like God of War and Ghost of Tsushima and Days Gone, that's going to be a prime franchise that is going to carry PlayStation into the next generation, or technically the current generation, I should say. I am very much looking forward to playing the next Horizon Zero Dawn. This game was amazing. Aloy is such an amazing character. The world has such an amazing setting. I want to come back. I want to learn more about this world because this was really an incredible playthrough. The only reason why I wouldn't stream this is because it's so damn long and I don't want to waste anyone's time, but this was an amazing game, no question. There's just a couple little flaws that held it back from being a 10 out of 10. But heck, if they just continue off of this and just add a couple of little improvements, then it pretty much almost guarantees that this sequel to this game might be a 10 out of 10 game right by the end. Next, we have Killzone Shadowfall. A lot of people don't like this game. I don't know why. Because this is the first game I ever got for the PlayStation 4, and it was meant to show off what the PlayStation 4 could do. And I like it. It's not great, but I think it certainly shows the potential of what the system can do. And I think after all the exclusive that came afterwards, it definitely did live up to it. A little bit disappointed that this was the final Killzone game that came out. I think I would be okay if they gave it another try, but heck, I'm fine with them letting the franchise retire because now they're focused on Horizon, which is definitely a far better series than Killzone ever was. But I think that Killzone does have its place in PlayStation history, and heck, I'm happy that this is in my collection, even though a lot of people don't. Next, we have Detroit Become Human. I just finished streaming this. Incredible game by Quantic Dreams. I've always liked the style of game. I really have enjoyed Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, and this. Great concept, great storytelling, great visuals. I can't complain. This is the type of thing that you can only get. Well, no, I think they put this on PC eventually, but I'm saying in terms of quality, Sony games have always been very diverse and have always been able to tell great stories, and this is just another collection to that long lineup of great PlayStation exclusives that were at the time. Next, we have God of War 3 Remastered. Don't gotta say too much about it. It's my favorite entry in the God of War franchise. It is a 10 out of 10 legendary game. Uh, I'm just happy I got to replay it on the PlayStation 4 because I had so much fun with it on the PlayStation 3. And heck, if Ragnarok wants to try to top it, it's got a it's got a pretty heavy and difficult task if you want to top this game, because I think this is okay. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry, my video recorder actually had to stop because I went over the time limit. But as hope you guys missed it. God of War 3, favorite game in the franchise, 10 out of 10 game, legendary game, probably my favorite hack and slash game. Hope you guys didn't miss that part. Next, newest game to add to the collection, Cyberpunk 2077. Buggy as hell. It's still kind of addicting to play. And I hope they do release a definitive version on PlayStation 5 that is much better, because as much fun as this game is, even after all the patches, which I believe we're up to like the 7th patch, this game still crashes like crazy. So if this game wasn't as fun, as addictive as it is, I probably would have stopped playing this game. So yeah, please get this thing in order. Next, Final Fantasy X and X-2 Remastered. I own 4 copies of this. I own this on PlayStation 4, on PlayStation 3, on a PlayStation Vita, and the PlayStation 2. This is my favorite JRPG game of all time. It's my favorite entry in the Final Fantasy franchise by far. I can't say enough great things about it. And even Final Fantasy X-2, despite its problems, despite its flaws, I do not think it hurts my overall thoughts and feelings on the first game. So yeah, if you're curious, I would, if I could pick any one game in the franchise to recommend, this is the one I would recommend above all other Final Fantasy games, without question. Next, Kingdom Hearts 3. Okay game, easy as hell, and I certainly do not think it was worth the wait. This game had no middle section. I don't think it did a very good job at summing a lot of things up that had been storylines that had been going on through the entire franchise. But that doesn't make it a bad game. I did like some of the world building. I did like some of the characters. I just felt Soul was just really overpowered, and I think by the end it was a solid. I mean, I'm not even sure if this is a conclusion. I'm not even sure if they'll do like a Kingdom Hearts 4. But I think this game on its own, I think it's fine. It's serviceable. It does the job right. It just doesn't do it perfectly or as well as I'd hoped. But yeah, this game certainly was not worth the wait, and this should have easily have come out like 10 years ago, or even like 8 years ago. Next, have the Kingdom Hearts 2.8 collection, which comes with Dream Drop Distance, Birth by Sleep, and Kingdom Hearts X, as well as I believe Kingdom Hearts 2. I believe, yes, I believe so, maybe, yeah, pretty sure. And I think that's really about it. Anything else? No. So that's all I gotta say about that one. Next, I have both Destinies 1 and 2. I got suckered into the hype. Overall, I did have fun playing Destiny. Not the greatest looter shooter franchise, but when you're playing with friends or playing with the right party, playing Destiny can be an amazing experience. I have been curious about going back to Destiny 2 and giving it another go, because I haven't played this in like a year or two, so I don't know how much they've changed about it. But I don't know. Maybe people would be interested in playing with me. Maybe I'll get another shot. But overall, I thought these games were just fine. Okay, we're coming down to the last set of games. Okay, look, these 4, we're just gonna do them all at once. Okay, you guys know I'm a big fan of dancing games, so I pretty much have these next 4 games are just dance games. So it's Just Dance 2014, Just Dance 2015, Just Dance 2016. And Just Dance 2017. I think I stopped after 17, but I might give it another go because I still love dancing games. Yeah, great exercise and love playing with friends. And the last game in my collection I have is a game that even I totally forgot about. Not gonna lie. I remember why I picked up this game, and this is Final Fantasy Type Zero HD. And I'm not even gonna lie or try to hide. The only reason I even picked up this game was for this, as you can see, because it actually came with the demo for Final Fantasy 15, and I wanted to play it so badly. So that was really the only reason I picked up this game. I don't even remember what this game was about. All I know is this was originally released on the PlayStation Portable, and then they just transferred it over to the PlayStation 4. But I don't think it was a good transition. I don't think it was a bad game, but I think it dealt with like a bunch of like teenagers at some sort of magic academy, and they were fighting some robots, and yeah, kind of almost forgettable. Maybe if someone can like tell me what this game was really about, or if it's worth playing another again, maybe I'll give it another shot. And with that, that completes my PlayStation 4 game collection. If you happen to enjoy my collection, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you next time.